in Argentina and Brazil, Venezuela, Chile. The cowboy culture is huge, and there's hundreds of millions, I don't know, maybe a billion people in South America total. And the cowboy culture even goes into the cities. It's not just the out on the farms and ranches that they hold that tradition highly or in high esteem. You go anywhere you want. Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, they still have a reverence for their gauchos or their vaqueros or whatever they are. Even up in the north in Venezuela and Colombia, lots of cowboys, as we call them. And then you figure Europe. Europe loves westerns. They always have. They find it fascinating, and they find Hawaii fascinating. And then you go to Asia, which has billions and billions of people, and they're completely fascinated by Hawaii. And you go down to Australia and New Zealand, and most everybody that knows anything about those two countries, they know that there's the cowboy is a big part of their culture. I guess India, well, we know how they feel about cows. And then Africa, well, that's the homeland of the first cowboy. The Dinka, the Maasai, those are the original cowboys, and they're still practicing it all through Arabia and their fanaticism with horses. Up into Spain, you go to Spain, and that's full circle. That's where the story of the Hawaiian cowboy kind of kicks in. That's where the Hawaiian Paniolo's got their skills, were from Spain via Mexico and California. So when you start to do the math to figure out who would watch this movie, I think it's a little bit easier to try to figure out who wouldn't. That's all I gotta say. I think the things that most people like in a movie, or at least what I like in a movie, I don't know if I think like most people, but we tend to like movies that have an underdog story to it, so we can root for that underdog, whether it's in sports or whatever it may be. And we definitely have this with the Hawaiian cowboys, the Panielos, going out to Cheyenne and competing on borrowed horses, as opposed to some of the local cowboys that are from Wyoming and Colorado and so forth, competing on their own. And they're foreigners in a foreign land, and they look different and all that, so it's kind of fun to be able to root for that type of team or individual. And then you have this compelling story of a family kind of battling over a ranch, and all the intrigue that goes with a family dynamic going through that. Kind of reminds people, I think, of westerns like Man from Snowy River or Legends of the Fall. And then we have the Hawaiian language being spoken throughout the story, because they were just at that point in time, Hawaiian was, I don't know if it was necessarily illegal anymore, but it was definitely being, and had been for the past previous 50 years or 70 years, being kind of restricted and tamped out by the missionaries. So it's kind of a story of these Hawaiian cowboys cradling a culture as much as it is a competition underdog story. And it kind of brings out the kind of, to me, the spirit of Dances with Wolves, where they throughout the movie are speaking in Lakota, and it's in English subtitles, and that's kind of an intent that we have on this project is to do the same. So when you kind of combine that with all these beautiful expanses of blue sky and blue water and green hills and waterfalls and beautiful actors and beautiful actresses dressed in a period piece. It's a period piece, so they're dressed in the period 1908, but it's plainly obvious that they're Hawaiians too. They have billets in their hats, and they often would ride in polo shirts, and they were excellent polo players too. We have a scene in the story where they're playing polo for fun. So they dress in their unique attire, and I think that that should be pretty fun from a creative standpoint. I've never really been a part of costume design, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a challenge but a lot of fun to kind of create a story that's so fun to watch, because these characters did live. This is a true story, based on a true story, and their connection with famous people along the way, which kind of gives it a Forrest Gump feeling, but as opposed to in Forrest Gump it was all fake, this is all true. These characters did have relationships with Teddy Roosevelt and Will Rogers and Jack London. The people that were in this story are related to the Parkers of the Parker Ranch, Sanford Dole of Dole Foods, Spreckles is Spreckles Sugar. I mean, these names are household names, and we didn't even have to make up those connections. We just had to research it, and then it became clear how rich of a time in history this was, and how many different parts of the world converged in Hawaii, from the cowboys of Mexico and Chile to the English sailors like Captain Cook and George Vancouver. It's pretty amazing, and to be able to try to attempt to do that at the same time trying to make a movie that, I mean, we want you to smell the moisture in the air when we're filming by a waterfall. We want the audience to feel like they've got coconut oil, you know. I want them to be in Hawaii when they're watching this. And I think it can be done. It can be done with the right casting. And I've got a few people in mind that are try to keep it, you know, Polynesian, or at least the skin tone of the characters at that time. They were mixed Hawaiian, Hapa. They call it in Hawaii, mixed race. So I have some people in mind like Tia Carrera and Keisha Castle Hughes from The Whale Rider, and Jason Momoa, Benjamin Bratt, Dean Cain, and so forth. There's some other guys that might be interested just because they sort of have a connection to Hawaii that would be good for the Wyoming Cowboys, like maybe Woody Harrelson. He lives in Maui. Play one of Angus McPhee or Hugh McPhee, and who knows, Mike Vogel, or Matthew McConaughey likes to surf, so you never know. I mean, sometimes if you can put something in front of an actor that they have a connection to, it makes it a little bit easier for them to want to go make money doing something they like, as opposed to doing something they don't like because they need the money. So we'll see, but I got a good feeling about it, and I think to put a score together, a musical score for this, would just be what a great experience it would be to put some sort of symphonic mixture with Hawaiian. If you could fuse those two together, I think you could create a score that would be truly an epic. It would, you could see Broadway copying us a few years down the road. So we'll see, but I'll keep you guys in the loop, pun intended.